Hi, my name is AJ Parr. I'm a journalist. I also write and have written over 20 spiritual books, which are in Amazon. And lately, I've been working on a new series about near death experience and the afterlife. And to help me out with this question, I invited a dear friend, La Señora Cristal, Lady Crystal in English.
Hi, AJ.
Okay, you're here. I want to tell the audience that you're here because you're going to talk about two near-death experiences you've had so far. And these really changed your life, didn't they?
Yes, there is a saying in Spanish culture that when you don't want soup, the universe gives you two bowls. Yes, the first experience I had, is oh, wow. Even talking about it makes me very emotional. I had a surgery, and after the surgery, in the post-surgery, I lost a lot of blood during the surgery, and I was very weak. I wasn't feeling well at all. And, I didn't feel anything. I wasn't feeling, I just remember feeling weak, but I didn't have pain. I didn't feel any pain, nothing. I just remember that I was losing my strength and that I didn't have a strength to keep on going. So I felt like something was suctioning me, in a very dark space.
A tunnel or
It was
something?
like a tunnel, we can say, because I felt like going on a spiral and like they were pulling me. And I remember feeling kind of dizzy with the sensation, but not feeling at the same time. It was more like the idea of feeling dizziness. And then I saw this bright, beautiful, bright light. And after the light was changing into something kind of foggy. It was like fog all over me, all around me. And far away, I saw this beautiful forest. It was like I saw trees and this very green grass, but it was kind of like when they just water the grass, or in the morning when you live next to the water and the grass is all like moist. And I remember walking on the grass, and I saw a bunch of people, but not in a body. I knew that there were people that I knew, but I wasn't able to see the bodies. I was just, it's hard to explain because I just knew that they were there. And I was walking barefoot towards this, how can we say, spirits, souls, or these presences that I felt that they were waiting for me. And I was walking towards them. And at the moment, I felt like coming back, like something pulling me back. And I just came back. But I wasn't able to reach them or to talk to them.
Okay.
I just felt them.
Okay.
They didn't have a physical body.
Great.
I knew that there were relatives, that they were there waiting for me to get to the other side, to that area where they were. I believe that I was like when you're in the lobby,
right? Okay.
of a place, and you're walking into the main room, and they were waiting in the main room, but I wasn't able to get there.
Right.
To this reunion. So I came back before the reunion.
That was your first near-death experience, and you, before we started this interview, you told me that you were mostly impressed with your second near-death experience. This one was pretty impressive too. So let's hear it. Let's hear about the second.
Well, probably because the second one was not too long ago. It was back into 2020. It's going to be actually 2 years because it was in this month, in August. So, I got COVID. I got very sick with COVID, very, very sick. Okay. And I remember being in a room. I had lots of fluids in my lungs. I had a chronic bronchitis. I was feeling so sick, so weak, and my body was completely frozen. My husband says he remembers all this, and when he talks about it, he gets very emotional, because he says that he came to touch me many times, and my body was just cold. It was so cold that he says that he talked to his mother one day, and he says, "What I'm gonna do with her body? She's not gonna pass the night. She won't make it." So I remember being in the bed, and I was like, because my husband told me, "Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" And at this point, I knew that I was not gonna make it. I knew, I was well aware that I was not gonna make it. And I told my husband, "No, I want to die here with you, next to you." I don't want to die alone. If I'm gonna go, I want to make sure that you are right here next to me. So, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna do that. You're gonna stay here." He was already sick as well, but his symptoms were very mild, very mild. So I was laying face down with lots of pillows. I had all these pillows under me because I had all this fluid. I was so cold, and I was exhausted. And my husband went to the kitchen, and I just felt like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm ready to go. If this is my end, I'll take it. I let myself go, and I'm not gonna fight no more. So I remember feeling like, okay, I'm not gonna fight it no more. I surrendered myself, and I say, "I'm here. Okay, I can't deal with this no more. I'm exhausted." And I remember that I just closed my eyes. I closed my eyes, and I entered in a very deep state of peace. It was very peaceful to me. But this time, I didn't feel the tunnel. I didn't feel the suction or the spiral.
Okay.
I just felt light all over me. I didn't even have the strength to call my husband anymore.
Wow. Okay.
So, and I remember feeling all this light, and seeing light all around me. And I was just like, when you're in a deep state of meditation,
Yes.
when you go so deep that you don't see what's around you, you just become one with the light. So
Yes.
that's what happened to me. I became one with the light. And I said, well, I'm gonna do the same thing that I do when I meditate. I'm just gonna, blend and let the light take me and surround me. So I felt all this light, and I started seeing the fog again. I saw this fog all around me, and the light, it was beautiful.
You were surrounded by this light?
Yes. And I saw light, and it was beautiful. And I saw the fog again, and I saw the green grass, and I was walking in the grass again. And I saw the relatives back then again.
Wow.
And this time my father was there.
Wow. So
yes, I was able to see my father, not with the body, but I knew he was there because I was able to communicate, to know that I was there. It was like they were already welcoming me to that place that I was. So I had a friend, a very good friend. We were friends for more than 20 years, and she passed away back in 2016. And I wasn't able to say goodbye to her, and I had a very beautiful story about this because she called me and she sent me a text, but I was already on a plane to Rome. I was flying to Rome, and I wasn't able to answer. And when I got to Rome, I found out that she was there. When I was in this state, she came to me. She was the one who approached me.
Apart from your father and
Yes.
other people, she was there.
She was there. They were like in the back, and she
Okay.
was the one who came to me.
Okay.
She came to me, and I had the feeling like she was grabbing my hand to walk me towards where the rest of the crowd was.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm walking, and I just, I was like looking around, but not looking around because I didn't have this body. It was this sense of existing there. I knew that I exist, that I was there, but I didn't have the body. I had the conscious was there. My conscious was there. And I was able to communicate with her, but I mean, not by words. It was like a kind of telepathy.
Telepathy.
Yes. So I was able to communicate with her, and we were walking in the meadow, and far away, but very far away, I heard the phone ringing, and it was my husband talking to my mom.
Okay.
But it was like I was half on my way there, and far, but very far away, I heard my mom talking to my husband. And let me tell you this, AJ, my mom is a very strong woman, a very strong woman. I had a brother, he passed when he was 6 and I was 11. And my mother went through this as a champion. She's a warrior, and is a very strong person. And in the back, I heard my mom crying like crazy.
Wow.
And I was able to hear my mom saying she cannot give up. I'm not ready to lose another child.
You heard her say?
Exactly. I heard her saying, I'm not ready to lose another child. And crying, like in a very, how can I say, it was something very desperate, Okay. And I'm walking with my friend towards the people waiting for me. And I hear in the back, my father wasn't within this group of people.
Okay.
And I hear my mom in the other side and my husband crying as well. And I told her, listen, I cannot go. I'm not ready to go. My mom is suffering. I cannot let her suffer this way. She already went through so much. I cannot give her this suffering.
Okay.
And she looked at me and she says, okay, go.
You were free to go.
Exactly. But it's not that she was talking to me. It was this kind of communication.
Okay.
In a very different level. It's not like having a communication like the one we're having. It's just knowing what they're telling you.
Okay.
And I kept listening to my mom louder and louder and louder.
Did you walk back, or what did you do back then?
No, I didn't walk. I just came back like again.
When you came back, your mother was not there. She was on the phone, so
she was on the phone.
Okay.
Yes, she was in Mexico.
Oh,
and she was on the phone with my husband, and he had her on a speakerphone.
Okay.
So that's why I was able to hear, her voice, and it was louder and louder. Like I was coming back, and I was able to become present again, like to be there, because I knew that I was not there. And I remember that at that moment I was like, was I dreaming? Was that, what was happening to me? I was so confused. The only thing that I knew is that I had to talk to my mom, that I had to talk to her.
Did you still feel cold, and did you still feel tired and sick?
No more. I just knew that I had to come back. So when I came back, I remember that I got strength out of nowhere to just move my hand and to talk and to say to my husband, because the kitchen was close to the room where I was at.
Okay.
Because I was just in that room and my husband was the only one coming into the room. So I just remember moving my head and telling my husband, tell my mom that I will make it.
Oh, great.
Yes. And from that day, I started to regain my strength little by little. It took me a long time. I had a very, very strong battle, but here I am 2 years later.
You mentioned that when you got there, you saw your father and you had a communication with him.
Yes, I knew. It's not that we talked, it's just he was telling me, I'm here for you.
Oh, okay.
It was a way to say, here I am. I'm
Okay.
here for you. I saw there people there, but they didn't try to communicate with me. They were just like spectators. And my father was the one telling me, hey, I'm here.
Wow.
Yes, I saw my grandparents, I saw my grandmothers, and I saw aunts and uncles. I saw people there that I knew they were my relatives in this life, but they were not in a physical body. I just knew that they were there.
Right. So if someone is about to die or had a loved one that recently passed away, what would you tell them about death? Is death the
First
end?
of all, no. Pretty sure it's not. I know. And I believe that some people, when someone dies, because I've been I saw my grandfather dying when I was 8, my brother dying when I was 11, my father dying, my grandparents dying. So I'm pretty familiar with the feeling, and how we have to face all these emotions. And sometimes we get the sensation that the person that you could do something different to avoid this person from dying, and it's not like that. I think we go when we have to go, and no matter how hard you try, and no matter you have done things different, the person will go when it's the right time. There is not such a thing like it was too soon. No, you go when you have to go. And I believe that according to what I have seen and experienced, I do believe that there is something else, that we are more than this. And that once we go, we get completely free. We go to a real body, something that is limitless, because you feel the sensation of a wholeness.
Okay.
You feel the sensation of this sense of peace, like a liberation, like you feel free.
People mention that the sensation of being back home, your real home. Did you feel that?
Not because I wasn't able to cross the line completely. Okay. I didn't get to my father, but it was the sensation of, what a release. I feel peace. I feel good. I don't feel alone. I don't feel with limits, I can be with them. I can communicate without trying, it's just the matter of setting the intention of what you want to say, and that's it. And they can feel it, and you can feel it as well.
Did you acquire any gift or any new abilities after your near-death experiences? Why do you laugh?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But my psychic abilities became stronger. and many other things that came back with me. Yes,
Yes.
that I
Okay.
rather yes
You rather not mention them. But
not
what about
mention.
your
Yes.
what about your psychic abilities? Um, you also mentioned before this interview that when you were when your brother died, he was 6 and you were 11 in a car accident. You also suffered. Uh, you also had physical damage, and that triggered your abilities, right?
Exactly. I had a severe trauma right here in my head,
Okay.
and a piece of metal went into my head. And I was 11 years old, and after that, my psychic abilities came to the surface, and I've been, working on that for many, many, many years,
Okay.
and educating myself and how to use them wisely. And yes, but after 2020, they became even
Okay,
stronger.
since there are many psychic abilities, and maybe someone who is watching this video doesn't really understand, and I would like you to repeat what you told me that once you had this experience when you were 11, you started reading people, and you could know things about people before talking to them, right?
Yes.
Is that
Yes. And
basically?
yes,
Okay.
it is. It's difficult for me to talk about this, because my mother, being a doctor she has a PhD in education, and she's very scientific. So by me being so young and having all these experiences, it was like something must be wrong with her. We need to send her to the psychologist, and she must need to be treated because something must be, a trauma from the accident, and all the things that she saw during the accident. She saw her brother die, and so it was very difficult for me to accept that I had this ability, this gift, we can say. And yes, it was difficult to admit it and to learn how to use it, because I didn't have someone next to me to guide me through the process. And back then it was like, oh my God, something is wrong with her, she must be evil. Being from a Catholic family is not easy to deal with something like this, or to talk about something like this. So in yes, it was hard. I had to do it on my own. I had to start reading books and learning from others who went through the same or similar experiences, in order to accept what I had and how to handle, my gift.
That's really interesting. And presently, you are dedicated to helping others using this gift that you have developed throughout your life. And you offer certain services, and you actually offer readings and also psychic healing. Or what is it that you offer?
Well, I'm a sound therapist. I work through sound. Yes, and I've been teaching and a lot of people to learn how to become a sound therapist. And I'm also I work with the inner child, and I'm a hypnotherapist as well. And I work with past lives. I do past life regression,
Oh,
and but
okay.
I also, yes, and I do energy healing, energy work in different modalities. And but my main how can I say, the people, what they really like and when they come to me is for readings, even when I have other services. And I'm like, I'm a sound therapist. Why you keep looking for me to do readings? And I guess it's because I had this battle to accept myself as a reader, as a psychic, if we can say the word, in or
Okay.
a very high intuitive person. And yes, to me, sometimes I have that battle till today to see myself as a psychic, and that's what people come to me. they come for my readings. And I say, yes, but I learned to use my readings as a way to help people to learn how to use and become aware of their own talents, their own abilities, and how to use the power of the mind to create their own realities, because we have the power to change our realities, to change the way we see life, to create the life that we want to have. And basically, we have to make changes. We have to take responsibility of the life that we are creating. And that is not an easy thing. We like to be victims, and it's easy to go through life being a victim, and instead of taking responsibility and use your talents to change your own life. We always ask others to make the changes, and we don't realize that if we want to see a change, we have to start within us. So through my sessions, through my readings, I help people to empower themselves, to accept that they deserve a better life, but they have to create that life, that they have the responsibility and they have the power to do it.
Great. And do you also do readings in English? If someone is watching this video and is interested, can they also contact you?
Yes, I do readings in English as well. Yes, in Spanish and English. I've been working for so many years in Spanish, but I feel more comfortable doing it in Spanish, but I do as well do readings in English, yes.
Okay, and something about your brother. Did you ever see him again in your near-death experiences or in dreams, or did you live?
No, not in my death experiences. I have seen him in dreams, but the one that I see very often is my father. Very often. I tend to say that I have a stronger communication with him now that he passed, that he's dead, than when he was alive. I'm constantly communicating with him. I just close my eyes and I picture himself, in my mind, and I communicate with him. And I express the way I learned that we can do it while I was going through that experience. So it's the same way that I do it now, because I believe that even when we have a physical body and they don't, we can still have that kind of communication, and that we don't need them to be in a physical form to be able to contact them. So I constantly close my eyes and I picture my father, and I just communicate, and I can sense him. I can, in some way, I can get the messages, and I have dreams with him. It's very, very beautiful, because even when I miss seeing his body, his physical body, and having the physical contact, I know that he's here with me, and that I can still communicate with him often, very often.
Oh, that's great. I'm really glad you came. I have a lot of questions, but I think I would like to invite you to another interview in the future and continue talking about this topic that interests a lot of people. So thank you for coming, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you. And I hope this message or this video can help people that are going through something like this, and to know that that is not the end.
I want to mention that this is the first time La Señora Cristal, Lady Crystal, the first time she ever admits publicly that she has had a near-death experience. Thanks for the honor, and I hope this benefits you as much as it may benefit the people who are watching this.
Well, thank you for opening the channel to me and giving me the opportunity to express, yes, for the very first time, to speak about this publicly. And I hope it can touch people's hearts and help them if they're going through a process like this.
Thank you. Thank you.